Hello, this is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question that I saw on Reddit. Now, this is not for business owners, but this is for people who are aspiring SEOs. Now, the question goes like this. This person, evidently, they are trying to make it in the SEO field, and they had, right out the gate, they had a client that they worked with, and this client was very receptive to their ideas. They would publish content that this person suggested. They would publish content often. They would implement all the suggestions that they would do, and this person that they were working with was very successful. Their SEO took off, their rankings took off, their traffic did very well. So this person kept going around to small business owners, and many of them were very reluctant to pay what I think was a very modest sum. I think it was, he said, between $300 and $500, and most of them just balked at that price, and they said it was too much. And so he went to work for an agency for a while with the understanding that the agency principal would introduce him to different small businesses, and he would be helping them. He would be helping those businesses with SEO on behalf of the agency. And at the same time, he was working in this agency, and he was educating the other staff members about SEO. And he was putting together some best practices for other people to do when they would onboard clients, such as, get them set up on Google Search Console and Google Analytics and things like that, and some other things that they weren't doing. So he ended up getting let go from that agency because the owner, or the agency principal that was supposed to be working with him, was always out of the office. It was always traveling, and I'm guessing just budget cuts or whatever. And this person is thinking, like, what do I do? They're asking, what do I do? I want to continue to pursue SEO as a career, but should I go work at another agency? What should I do? So here's my thoughts on this. I'm probably not the best person. I'm going to say this. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm probably not the best person to give you career advice, because everything that I did was completely against the grain of how I know most people did this. I didn't come up in an agency, and I never worked like in-house at an agency. I did subcontracts for other agencies as a web developer, but it was all remote. I'm on the West Coast, and the vast majority of places that I did web development for were on the East Coast. And even when I came up, I didn't learn web development until I was 39. I was working in a Wonder Bread factory, and I was going to online school at University of Phoenix, and to get an AA in web design, but I was also supplementing that with learning stuff from different websites like Code Academy, Treehouse, just reading every bit of marketing and web design and web development books, or I'd order them on Amazon and read blogs, and that's how I learned. And I did some SEO side projects a long time ago. I'm not a newbie to this. But I actually started doing it in earnest for clients a couple of years ago. And I was very fortunate to get some foundational SEO clients right out the gate that I was able to help them actually transform their business, and they made a lot of money so far. And they've helped refer me to different people, but I've also got a lot of business, not a lot, a fair amount of business from just people finding me online. So that said, now that you know my backstory, I've never worked in-house, like commuted each day and go to work at an agency and work with a team. Because most of those people, honestly, I don't know that I would have fit anyway, because most of those people are younger than me, like 15 years younger. I'm 47 right now. And most of the people in there are like, in their 20s or 30s. Here's my advice. My advice is, obviously you know what you're doing. You have a hunger for doing SEO. It seems like you know what you're doing, but it seems like you can't reach the type of clients that will help you run a sustainable business. I think maybe for now, your best bet is to find work at an agency. But I would still hustle for clients that are maybe on the lower, like the lower end that the agency would not take on as clients. Or, do something with the understanding that you are still running a separate business. One thing that I would do is make sure that you're publishing content on a regular basis so that other people in the industry that are your peers and colleagues can get to know you and your philosophy and be familiar with you, so they can recommend you as someone that does SEO. Because even though there are a lot of people jumping into it now, the number of people that have a good grasp of how SEO works and what it takes to succeed with it are still very few. And you sound like you know what you're doing. So I would do what it takes to pay the bills for now and try and build up slowly. Build up your name. A lot of people that I know that I started following, 5 or 6 years ago were working at agencies at the time, but have branched off and are running their own agencies now. And in fact, I see this in a lot of bigger agencies too, where someone can work for a larger agency, but they'll take on client engagements that fall below what the minimum engagement level is for that agency. So you're going to have to find the right fit of people that have that understanding, because some agencies are very, they're very weird about that sort of thing. Some agencies are really weird about it, and they basically just want to suck the life out of you as much as they can. Hate to say it. Some are kind of more mature and are going to have a better respect level for what you do. So do what you can to pay the bills for now and kind of build that up. Build up your name on the side. Build up your personal brand as much as you can. Take on smaller clients in your spare time as much as you can. One thing that you mentioned in this article is that a lot of the people that you would work with or that you would approach, a lot of people, you'd give them suggestions for writing content, and then they wouldn't follow through with it, or they would never actually do content. One thing that you're going to have to embrace, I think, is that you might have to create the content for most business owners. And this is one thing that I still cringe on when I see other SEOs that basically don't offer content writing or content creation, and they'll even dog their clients online, or dog people that, they'll talk down on people that they've worked with, saying that, well, I give them suggestions, but they don't do anything with it, and I'm waiting and waiting. Well, that's in my opinion, that's their fault. That's the consultant's job. If the client is not going to get the content written, you got to help them out. So I would pick, if you can, pick like one kind of focus area, whether it's, dentists or roofing or, contractors or HVAC or whatever it is that you got to find one like area where you have an assortment of clients in that cluster, to where you can help them, and you have a subject matter knowledge of it, because you are going to have to help them out with content. Most business owners that I know, they don't have time to write content, and even if they did, they might not know how to express it. It takes them a lot of work. Not everybody is gifted like that, but that's where marketers have to come in and help people write and create. That's what we do. So that's what I think that you need to do too. So my advice is just keep swimming. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work to get to a place where you're generating leads and you can sustain yourself on your own, but realize that that's always the goal. to get to a place where you're sustaining yourself on the leads that you create for yourself, and you're not reliant on anyone else to create leads for you. So you need to get to a place like that. I would try and rank for whatever your local city is. Sometimes that helps. You might get some leads that way. So try and rank for whatever your city is. And if you can, maybe try and rank for whatever specialty you think that you want to go for. Just pick something that you feel that you could help with. Like I said, I mentioned some popular niches right now, and there's a lot of people competing in those. So you can try and go to things like Chamber of Commerce events or meetups or different things. I would go to places where you're the only one that's doing marketing or SEO. I wouldn't so much like go to meetups where it's a bunch of web developers or web designers or meetings like that in your local community. I would go to places, where you're the only one doing what you do. And that might be a good way to get some leads too. And like I said, don't get discouraged if people don't want to pay. You know what it takes. Don't compromise on it. If people see the value in it, they're going to see the value in it. If they don't, they don't. That's on, don't compromise yourself. So I hope that helps. Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I never came up in an agency. I never worked directly. I only worked as a contractor and not as an SEO person. I've always been a solo flyer. I've always been working for myself, at least in this phase of my life. So like I said, I never went to design school. I never went to marketing school or anything like that. So take it with a grain of salt, but I think just keep doing what you're doing, keep your head above water, and try and build your personal brand, and you will attract people eventually. So I hope that helps. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. We help manufacturing and industrial firms with SEO, helping them get more requests for quotes, and we're publishing every week. So we'd love to see you subscribe. Until next time, peace.